video, we're going to be discussing the definition of Nitscheconstantiusborgalichiousness, a word that I have just coined with the help of my friend. So, we break it down starting with Nitscheconstantius, which is the connecting of Nietzsche and Constantine. Now we start with Nietzsche, who in Beyond Good and Evil talked about the Übermensch, who was the man, the powerful man, the overman, who was beyond all moral norms. He in fact got to the top of the social order, and then he imposed morality on everybody else below him, and they all had to accept it. But Nietzsche also wrote that Constantine, that is Emperor Constantine, was an interesting kind of guy in that not only was he an Übermensch, but he was an Übermensch who tricked himself into morality. Now Nietzsche had master morality and slave morality. Master morality being, essentially the will to power, the will to be industrious, to be aggressive, and all those things that make rich businessmen and successful lawyers. Then there was slave morality, which was being a good person, turning the other cheek, always being helpful, giving, charitable, forgiving, all that kind of nonsense. All that kind of stuff that we teach in Christianity. So, Constantine was at once the emperor, but also a Christian. So Nietzsche said that he was the greatest, that he was essentially either a genius or the greatest dupe of all, and that he imposed Christianity on himself and on everyone else. So, in this book that we're talking about here, and the state, it just described how the state is this mystic being that is over everybody and has no norms, but creates norms and then subjects it to itself. So in this respect, the state is described as being very much like the way that Nietzsche described Constantine. But then it goes on to being this collective unity, which has the capability of willing and acting, and it moves on in its historic mission in creating objective legal order, sort of blah 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 blah. So it goes on to talk about the state as this collective unit, a mighty macro-anthropos, or social organism. And it talks about this, and that's where the borgaliciousness comes into it. Because the state is totally a hive mind, this mystical hive mind that exists above everyone. So if you took the Borg as a collective unit, and then gave it the basic personality of Constantine as described by Nietzsche, you would have what this guy here, whose name is Hans Kelsen, has described the state to be. So here we have it. Nitscheconstantiusborgalichiousness. Cheers.